So guys, today we address an interesting topic, and that will be, guess what? Active muzzle flip control. But probably you'll say, wait a minute. The TPC doctrine preaches about the passive control of the recoil and the muzzle flip. Why active? That could be applied in a very specific situation when you have a high-risk target and you need to eliminate 100% any potential anticipation. Actually, we'll use that trick to relieve the brain from something that we call the mental static electricity. What these situations can be, from a realistic perspective, that can be a high-risk hostage situation, and let's say it's absolutely necessary to take that shot or somebody will die at that point. And if you're talking from a competitive perspective, let's say we have a 20 or 25 yards target, but everything of that target is covered by a no-shoot. So you have a no-shoot underneath and you have only the head zone exposed. So that's a high-risk shot. Why? Because the penalty is severe. So doesn't matter in a practical application or in a competitive environment, that particular technique will apply.
In passive muzzle flip management, we rely on the stiffness of the wrists and elbows to create a biomechanical effect, returning the gun back into alignment and point of aim as soon as the energy of the recoil dissipates, much like spring steel recoiling back to rest. This technique is highly effective when engaging targets with multiple shots at close to medium range, where the acceptable margin of error, the combat effective zone, is relatively generous. But the game changes when the distance increases or when we are aiming at a target with a minimal exposure. In these moments, the margin of error shrinks dramatically. When we try to hold the sights absolutely still or try to minimize the muzzle flip to the bare minimum to prepare for the follow-up shot, we trigger a different kind of internal pressure. The brain's internal performance monitoring system activates regions such as an anterior cingulate cortex, and the insula becomes highly engaged, pushing us into a state of over-control. If the pressure of a high-risk shot is added, where mistakes are unacceptable, this mental overcorrection often leads to one of the two outcomes: hesitation or involuntary flinch or anticipation. A sudden release of cognitive tension, what we call mental static electricity. But there is another way.
So what we'll do instead, we'll relieve a little bit the stiffness of the elbows. You're not going to touch the wrist stiffness. The wrist stiffness will stay exactly the same. Always treat the forearms and the grip like a single unit.
Imagine two mechanical components connected by a set screw. If we loosen the set screw just slightly, not enough for the parts to move freely, but enough for them to give under pressure, the components will shift to a new position and remain there, held in place by residual friction. Now visualize the shooter's elbows as if they are tightened by those same imaginary set screws. Now imagine gently loosening the set screws. Not so much that the structure collapses, but just enough to let the forearms rise naturally with the recoil. The wrists remain stiff. The gun lifts with the forearms staying in alignment and finishes high. Then with deliberate precision, the shooter returns the gun directly back to the original point of aim, ready for the next shot if required. By allowing natural recoil expression rather than resisting it, we reduce neurological load and minimize the likelihood of triggering a sympathetic stress response, one that often manifests as anticipation or flinch and is driven by accumulated mental static electricity. This technique ensures a string of relatively fast consecutive shots with exceptional precision and accuracy, even under pressure, by harmonizing biomechanics and neural efficiency into one seamless performance cycle.
That doesn't mean that you take that gun back to alignment slow. We'll let the gun recoil and immediately we'll place it back to alignment. That will eliminate any kind of potential anticipation. And meanwhile, you have a homework to do to immediately reset and prep that trigger. You can even stage the trigger. We're referring staging as 3 quick steps. Reset and prep, taking the slack, you add about 80% of the pressure required to break that shot, and you add that additional 20% as soon as you confirm that proper sight picture. In order to achieve that in a confident way, you need to know your trigger intimately, but that's why we train. Let us know in the comments below, do you find those tips helpful? Let us know how you do.
If you like the video, visit the online training page on our website or check the calendar section to sign up for our in-person courses. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.